It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Emma Rodriguez stood at the church entrance, her white gown shimmering in the morning light, bouquet trembling in her hands. 200 guests waited inside, cameras ready, smiles bright. But as the organ music swelled and she took her first step down the aisle, something impossible happened. Her German shepherd, Max, burst through the side door, barking frantically, and lunged straight at her groom. Chaos erupted. Guests screamed. The priest stumbled backward, but Max wasn't attacking randomly. His teeth caught something hidden in the groom's jacket, and what fell to the marble floor made Emma's blood run cold. What this loyal dog discovered would not only stop the wedding, it would save Emma's life. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and comment where you're watching from. Now, let's uncover the truth. 6 hours earlier, Emma's childhood home buzzed with excitement. Bridesmaids laughed over champagne, her mother cried happy tears while pinning the veil, and sunlight poured through lace curtains like a blessing. Emma stared at her reflection, hardly recognizing the glowing bride looking back. "You deserve this," her best friend whispered, squeezing her shoulder. And Emma believed it. After 3 years of dating, countless romantic dinners, and a proposal on a beach at sunset, she was finally marrying Marcus Kane, the man who'd swept her off her feet. Everything was perfect. Almost. In the corner of the room, Max sat unusually still, his dark eyes fixed on Emma with an intensity that made her pause. "What's wrong, boy?" she asked softly. Max whined low, ears pinned back. Her mother laughed nervously. "He's just not used to seeing you all dressed up." But Max had been acting strange for weeks. Ever since Marcus moved into Emma's apartment 2 months ago, the normally friendly dog had become distant, wary. He'd growl softly when Marcus entered rooms, refuse treats from his hand, and position himself between them whenever they sat together. "He's jealous," Marcus had said with a charming smile. "Dogs get territorial." Emma had accepted that explanation, even though it didn't feel quite right. Max had never been aggressive before. He'd loved her ex-boyfriend, adored her brother, welcomed every visitor with tail wags and licks. But with Marcus, something was different. This morning, Max had refused to eat his breakfast, paced the hallway relentlessly, and now sat watching her with those worried, knowing eyes. "I'll be back soon," Emma promised, kissing his head. Max didn't wag his tail. The vintage car rolled through the city streets, white ribbons fluttering. Emma's father sat beside her, dabbing his eyes with a handkerchief. "Your mother and I are so proud," he said, voice thick with emotion. Emma smiled, but her mind kept drifting to Max's behavior. She'd owned him for 7 years, since he was a puppy. He'd comforted her through her father's heart attack, stayed by her side during her grandmother's funeral, even alerted her once when she'd left the stove on. Max had instincts that bordered on supernatural. So why was he so opposed to Marcus? The church appeared ahead, its tall spire piercing the blue sky. Guests gathered outside, waving and cheering. Emma's heart raced with excitement and something else she couldn't name. Doubt? Fear? Intuition? What Emma didn't know was that back at the house, Max had broken free. The moment the bridal car left, he'd clawed at the back door until the latch gave way, then sprinted through neighborhood streets with singular focus. Dogs at other houses barked as he passed. Cars honked. Children pointed. But Max didn't stop. His powerful legs carried him 4 miles, his keen nose following Emma's scent, his instincts screaming that she was in danger. He'd seen things Emma hadn't noticed. The way Marcus's smile never reached his eyes. The strange phone calls he took in hushed tones. The faint chemical smell on his clothes. Max couldn't speak human words, but he could protect his family. And that's exactly what he intended to do, even if it meant disrupting the most important day of her life. The church interior was breathtaking. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, painting rainbow patterns across polished pews. White roses adorned every surface, their perfume sweet and heavy. Marcus stood at the altar in a sharp black tuxedo, his best man beside him, both grinning confidently. 200 guests murmured in anticipation, phones ready to capture the perfect moment. The priest opened his Bible, cleared his throat. The organ began to play, and everyone stood turning toward the entrance. Emma appeared, radiant and trembling, her father's arm linked through hers. Cameras flashed. Someone whispered, "She's beautiful." Marcus's smile widened, but in his jacket pocket, hidden from view, something small and deadly waited. Something that would have killed Emma within hours of saying, "I do." Something only a dog's incredible sense of smell could detect. Emma took her first step, then another. The aisle felt impossibly long. Her bouquet shook slightly, white lilies trembling against satin fabric. Guests smiled. Some cried, others recorded every second on their phones. Her father patted her hand reassuringly. Almost there, sweetheart, he whispered. Marcus locked eyes with her, his expression unreadable for just a moment before the charming smile returned. Emma's heart pounded. She was halfway down the aisle when she heard it. A commotion at the side entrance. Gasps rippled through the crowd. What's that? Someone said. Is that a dog? Emma turned, confused, and her breath caught. Max burst through the door, his fur bristling, eyes wild, barking with an urgency she'd never heard before. Max, she exclaimed. How did you? Max didn't hesitate. He charged down the aisle, powerful and focused, ignoring Emma's outstretched hand, ignoring the priest's startled cry. His target was singular. Marcus? The groom's eyes widened in shock. Get that dog out of here, he shouted, stepping backward. But Max was faster. He leaped, teeth bared, not at Marcus's throat, but at his jacket. Fabric ripped. Guests screamed. The best man tried to intervene, but Max was relentless, growling deep and primal. Something small and metallic flew from Marcus's pocket, clattering across the marble floor and rolling to a stop at Emma's feet. The church fell silent. Everyone stared. Emma bent down slowly, her hand shaking, and picked up the tiny object. It was a glass vial, barely larger than her thumb, filled with clear liquid. What is this? She whispered. Marcus's face went pale. It's nothing, he said quickly, too quickly. Just medication. Give it back. But Max positioned himself between them, still growling, refusing to let Marcus approach. Emma held the vial up to the light, examining it. There was no label, no pharmacy marking, just liquid that seemed to shimmer strangely. Medication for what? She asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Marcus's jaw tightened. My anxiety. I take it before big events. Emma, please, you're overreacting. The priest stepped forward, frowning deeply. Mr. Kane, why would you bring unlabeled medication to your wedding? Murmurs spread through the guests. Phones captured every moment. Emma's father moved protectively to her side. And Max, loyal Max, kept his eyes locked on Marcus, every muscle tensed, ready to attack again if needed. Let me see that, Emma's uncle said, stepping forward. He was a pharmacist, had been for 30 years. Emma handed him the vial carefully. He uncapped it, sniffed cautiously, and his expression changed instantly. This isn't medication, he said, his voice grave. This smells like oleandrin. It's a cardiac glycoside, extremely toxic. Gasps echoed through the church. Emma felt the floor tilt beneath her. Toxic? She repeated. Her uncle nodded grimly. A few drops in food or drink would cause heart failure within hours. It mimics natural cardiac arrest. It's nearly undetectable unless you know to look for it. The silence that followed was deafening. Everyone's eyes turned to Marcus. His carefully constructed facade crumbled. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His hands trembled. You don't understand, he stammered. I can explain. Explain what? Emma's voice cracked with emotion. Why you have poison at our wedding. Marcus ran a hand through his hair, looking trapped. Security guards appeared at the church doors, summoned by a quick-thinking guest. I didn't want to hurt you, Marcus said, his voice breaking. I just needed the insurance money. You changed your beneficiary to me last month, remember? $2 million. Emma's knees nearly gave out. Her father caught her. The romantic gesture, she whispered. You said couples should protect each other financially. Marcus nodded miserably. I'm drowning in gambling debts. $50,000 owed to dangerous people. They threatened my life. I was desperate. The plan was simple. We get married. I slip the poison into your champagne toast. You die of apparent heart failure within a day, and I collect the insurance. Police sirens wailed outside. Officers rushed in, surrounding Marcus. One read him his rights while another carefully bagged the vial as evidence. You planned to murder me on our wedding day, Emma said, tears streaming down her face. How long have you been planning this? Marcus looked away, shame and fear mingling on his face. 3 months. Since I found out about your family's wealth. Everything was a lie, Emma. The romance, the proposal, all of it. I'm sorry. The words meant nothing. Officers cuffed him, led him down the aisle where Emma should have walked toward a future together. Instead, she watched her would-be killer being taken away. Max pressed against her leg, warm and solid, his tail finally wagging. He'd saved her. The church emptied slowly, guests leaving in stunned silence. Emma sat in the front pew, still in her wedding dress, mascara running down her cheeks. Her mother held her, whispering soothing words. Her father paced angrily, already on the phone with lawyers. But Emma barely heard them. She stared at Max, who sat calmly at her feet now, his mission accomplished. You knew, she whispered to him. You've known for weeks. Max's tail thumped once against the floor. Emma buried her face in his fur, sobbing with relief and heartbreak. You saved my life, she choked out. You, incredible, beautiful, perfect dog. The priest approached gently. He's a hero, he said softly. Animals sense things we can't. He knew that man's heart was black. The police investigation uncovered Marcus's full plan. Detectives found searches on his laptop. Untraceable poisons, how to fake affection, marrying for money. He targeted Emma specifically after learning about her family's pharmaceutical company fortune. He'd orchestrated their chance meeting at a coffee shop, manipulated every romantic gesture, and proposed exactly when her previous relationship trauma made her vulnerable. He'd even researched Max, learning that oleandrin had no scent humans could detect, but dogs, with their 40 times more powerful sense of smell, might pick it up. That's why he'd tried so hard to get Emma to rehome Max, suggesting the dog didn't fit their new lifestyle. But Emma had refused, and that refusal saved her life. Max's incredible nose had detected the poison every time Marcus brought it near. 3 months later, Emma sat in her garden, watching Max chase butterflies across the grass. The trauma of that day had faded, replaced by gratitude. Marcus was in prison awaiting trial, facing attempted murder and fraud charges. Emma had started therapy, slowly rebuilding trust in people. But one thing never wavered, her trust in Max. She'd framed a photo from that day, not of her in the wedding dress, but of Max standing protectively in the aisle. She looked at it often, remembering. You're my guardian angel, she told him, scratching behind his ears. Max licked her hand, tail wagging happily. Emma smiled, finally at peace. Sometimes the love that saves us doesn't come in the form we expect. Sometimes it comes with 4 paws, wet nose, and unwavering loyalty. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, animals see the truth we're too blind to notice. And sometimes, a dog's instinct is the only thing standing between life and death. Thank you for watching, and give your pets an extra hug tonight. They might just be your heroes too.